The Evil Hero cards are here, and they are exactly what heroes needed to find themselves back at the top. Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about heroes, pure heroes, after the release of the new Evil Hero support. And I've got to say, it feels like a whole new deck has just opened up. The amount of additional plays from hand and things that don't involve your normal summon that you can do now is insane, and your deck doesn't live or die by whether or not you're able to resolve Vision Hero Varus. Not only that, but a lot of the new cards do not impede in any significant way the already rather inflexible routes of the deck, with the rather xenophobic approach the deck takes. So all of this additional in-engine support has just been a massive boon. Now, I could sit here for hours and explain to you what the new cards are and what they do, because there is a lot of them, and a lot of them are really good. But rather than doing that, what I am going to do is I'm going to hop into the ranked ladder, and I'm just going to play, and I'm going to teach you what they do as we're playing the game, because it'll be much easier to understand that way. But anyways, we're going to play some games live. I am going to go over the deck at the end in a little bit more detail, go for card, tell you what we're playing and why we're playing it. So if you're interested in this style of content, not only about heroes, which you're going to see more of, spoilers, but also the other new decks that came out between Punks, Mermaid Atlanteans, and whatever else we can make videos on, make sure you subscribe to catch them as I go out. Make sure you're subscribed to catch our live streams as we're playing these decks live, so you can get a vibe for not only how they work, but also my learning journey and how I learned to play them as well. It's always an awful lot of fun, so you're welcome to join, but I'm not going to ramble here at the very beginning. Let's just get into game number one. Alrighty, so we are going second, and before we get into main phase, I'm going to activate Full Wallows because we are going second. I did lose the coin toss and I was forced to go second, but to be honest, after having played the deck on stream, I think going second is definitely the right way to go. We have a pretty impressive hand here, and our opponent may not be willing to play in the Full Wallows, so we may have an open board for me to demonstrate some of the plays and combos here. So let's see what we can do. Mirror the Fusion off the top, not the greatest card in the world. You would much rather search that off Sunrise, but not the end of the world. We're going to go for Rhoda, see if we can beat a potential Ash Blossom. Unlikely, but better to try than not to. We're going to grab the Denier here. Denier, being able to drop Denier from hand through one of our many discard effects that we're going to be using is, of course, going to be useful. Normal summon out Elemental Hero Stratos. Activating Stratos, we're going to search our deck for a hero monster. We may catch an Imperm here. Okay, not Imperm, but we've got there can only be one. Each player can only control one monster of each type. Oh, that's a problem. That is a big old problem to me. Okay, well, let's go for Evil Hero Adusted Gold. Now we're going to activate... oh. No, he's got... No, okay. We're going to go for Evil Hero with Dusted Gold then. There can only be one is going to be a bit of a problem, to be perfectly honest. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to overcome this, but what I do know is that we will. We're going to go Evil Assault here. Evil Assault... Luckily, with the Evil Hero cards, we do play a few different types in our deck, so we're not entirely locked down in the same way that a traditional hero deck would have been. We're going to go Evil Assault here. Evil Assault will give us the ability to discard a card. We'll drop our Shadow Mist. And we're going to special summon a level 4 or lower Evil Hero monster from our deck. We're going to go for Evil Hero Dead End Prison. Dead End Prison is a rock monster, meaning it can be summoned. That'll trigger Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist then, when sent to the graveyard, will search our deck for a hero monster. So what we really need to do is find a way to get this off the board. We have a couple of ways in which we can do that. Primarily at the minute, I'm thinking Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is likely going to be a very good way of doing that. It is a warrior monster, meaning we need to not have Stratos on the field. So we'll be getting rid of him in just a moment. Let's grab Toxic Bubble. It might draw us the perfect card, which is kind of what we're after at the minute. We're going to go Evil Hero Dead End. We're going to send a card from our deck to the graveyard. We're going to send the Sinister Necrom. Sinister Necrom is a very good target to be sent to grave because you can banish it to special summon any Evil Hero directly from your deck. So that is exactly what we're going to do. Sinister Necrom will get banished. And now we can summon out a Evil Hero monster from the deck. And we're going to go for Evil Hero Infernal Rider. Infernal Raider then will search our deck for Dark Fusion specifically. Okay, so what we need to do is find a way to get Stratos off the field. There's not going to be an easy way of doing that just yet. So for now, we're going to take whatever damage we can get our hands on. Get some major damage in. So depending on how much gas our opponent has, if they can't finish us in one go, then we should be fine. Or not. Okay, that's fair. Well, that was interesting. You got to see some of the cards, but it wasn't a fantastic showcase. So let's see if we can get another one in there. Losing the coin toss, but that is a-okay. We are going to be going second here. Normally, I prefer playing this deck going second anyway, so I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. We got Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is all over the place, almost as if it's a tier 1 deck. Who would have seen that one coming? Ultimately, we're going to let our opponent combo off here. We've all seen Blue Eyes a million times, so let's cut to the end for when he is actually finished. Okay, I'm assuming our opponent might have missed a step there, because you don't normally end with Tyrant on your end board, but Tyrant is no joke of a card either. Unfortunately for our opponent, we're simply far too good at the game. Look at this hand. This is insane. This is broken beyond fucking belief. This is... oh my god. Alright, we're gonna start off with Elemental Hero Stratos. Activating its effect to search our deck for a hero monster. True Light going to be summoning back a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the graveyard. Alright, Elemental Hero Stratos is going to search our deck for Evil Hero with Dusted Gold. Now, in a position like this, normally you would search for a Dusted Gold because you want a Dusted Gold to grab Evil Assault. Now, bear in mind, we already have Evil Assault, so you've got a few options here. You could go with Dusted Gold to use it to grab a different Evil Hero related card if there's something else that tickles your fancy, perhaps something like Toxic Bubble or whatever. Or you could instead grab a card that you would like to be discarded off of Evil Assault's discard cost. So something like a Malicious or a Shadow Mist or something of that nature would also be very good. I'm personally going to grab a Shadow Mist. Then we're going to go for Evil Assault. Evil Assault then going to activate. We're going to discard the Elemental Hero Shadow Mist that we just searched for. And we're going to basically... Majesty of the... okay. I could go Droplet to negate the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon here so that I don't get 0 value out of my Stratos. And I don't think that's a terrible play, honestly, because we're not going to want the Spirit Dragon life for very long. So I'm going to... there's not really very much difference in me negating it now or negating it a few seconds from now. Except that now I'm going to lose my cards if I don't use it right now. So I'm just going to send these two. And then I can negate both the Spirit Dragon and the Tyrant Dragon without losing any hand advantage or card value whatsoever. So he gets the target of Blue Eyes. He's just going to pop Droplet, which does nothing. Evil Assault still resolves. We're going to grab Evil Hero Dead End Prison. We're going to special summon this guy out to the field. Shadow Mist then going to activate in the graveyard. It's going to search our deck for another hero monster, add it to our hand, which is handy. We have normal summoned. Vicious Claw is an extender while in hand. You can special summon it to do some additional hero plays, which we may in a moment do. Although what may be more appropriate is perhaps a search for an evil hero card. Well, let's get to that in a moment. Veiler on the Dead End Prison is huge. That's honestly really big, because that means that we... wait, hang on, is that big? No, it's not, actually. It sends Sinister Necrom as cost, so yeah, I'm not really all that worried about that, actually. Never mind. I don't actually care that much. Deck to hand, what I'm gonna do, and this is me being ballsy as hell, and I do not recommend you do this all of the time, but I'm gonna go for Evil Hero Toxic Bubble. And this is purely me being ballsy, and that's why I love this card so much. What's gonna happen here is I'm gonna activate Evil Hero Dead End Prison. This card would send a hero from deck to graveyard to then make itself a fusion substitute monster for the rest of the turn. But the sending of the hero monster is cost, so I can still send the Sinister Necrom, I just don't become a fusion substitute, which I can live with. That's fine by me. Because my real purpose is just making sure that the Sinister Necron gets into the graveyard. So now I can banish it from the graveyard to special summon an evil hero directly from my deck. And the one I'm going to summon is going to be Evil Hero Infernal Rider. Infernal Rider, when summoned, will search your deck for Dark Fusion specifically. Alright, perfect. Normally you would use Dark Fusion to fuse the Dead End Prison and the Infernal Rider into the Evil Hero Backfire, Infernal Wing Backfire. Unfortunately, because we're no longer a fusion substitute, we can't actually do that. However, fusion summoning is still in our best interest, thanks to Toxic Bubble. So we are still going to activate Dark Fusion. We just can't get as much value out of it as we otherwise would have liked to. So we're going to go Infernal Rider and our Dead End Prison to summon out Evil Hero Malicious Being. This card is a goddamn menace. So having this guy, especially going second, which is part of why I love this deck going second so much. This guy's a fucking freak. It's great. Now we can special summon Toxic Bubble, and because we control a monster that was summoned through the effect of Dark Fusion, we can have our summon negated by Primate Scream. I was gonna say what was supposed to happen is we were supposed to draw 2 cards. But I guess that's not happening. Oh, buddy. Special summon this card in defense position. Okay, that's fine. I really don't mind that at all in the slightest. Malicious Being, wipe this fucking... Wipe this field. What's this clown doing? What does he think these fucking monsters are? Get these out of here. Fusion Destiny. There's no way you have a usable card. I was gonna say... Ain't no way. Sending Denier and Malicious for our DPE. Our opponent's got 8,000 life points. We now have, what is that? 6,100 damage in the field? Yep. This guy summons himself in defense, otherwise it would instantly be lethal. Magnamut gonna banish, I would imagine, Malicious before it can become a threat. Or maybe, Denier's not a bad banish either. That is a bad banish, though. I don't really know what you're doing for that one, buddy. Buddy, old pal, old friend. But, sure.
After one unnecessarily long combo.
And into the battle phase. And we win. 25, 25, and 36 off of the Big Bad Being. Let's see if we can maybe find another opponent who's going to put up just a little bit more of a challenge. Although, to be honest, that's been happening a lot. Alright, looks like in trying to find some decent replays to show you, we accidentally got promoted to Diamond. You know, it's just one of those things that happens. So we're in Diamond now, so hopefully the quality of opponent is going to increase here. Baron is the play. Kind of mitigates the need to even cycle the increase, to be honest. We're going to go for a Hero Lives, hopefully forcing an Ash Blossom so that makes our Triple Tactics Talent live to also force the Baron. And then Vion is just going to get gaming. Hell yeah. Activating a Triple Tactics Talent. We're going to take control of a monster our opponent controls until the end of this turn. He's, of course, going to negate that because he doesn't want us to take his Baron. Absolutely understandable. We are still in a position where we can make and play. We're going to go Vision Hero Faris. Faris activates on summon. We're going to send a hero monster from deck to graveyard. There's the Imperm. Alright. Mask Change. We're going to activate the Mask Change, targeting the Vision Hero Vion, getting it off the field so it is not negated by the Infinite Impermanence and still allows us to mill a card. So we're going to go for Darklaw here. So we're going to send Shadow Mist to the graveyard. Shadow Mist then being sent to the graveyard is going to allow us to search our deck for a card here. What we're going to do is we're going to search our deck for... Have we normal summoned? We have. We're going to grab a Dust of Gold. A Dust of Gold then going to activate. We're going to discard it to grab ourselves a Dark Fusion related card. That is going to be our Evil Assault. Now we're going to activate Evil Assault. I'm going to show you, I think we're going to get into the Dark Contact line here, so I want to show that off just a little bit. We're going to grab our Dead End Prison. We're going to summon this guy out to the field. Dead End Prison then is going to activate. We're going to send a hero monster from deck to graveyard. We're going to send the Sinister Necron to the graveyard, and he now becomes a fusion substitute for the turn, allowing the Sinister Necron to banish himself from the graveyard in order to special summon the Infernal Rider from our deck. The Infernal Rider on special summon is going to search our deck for Dark Fusion. So we grab the spell card here. Now what we're going to do is we've got a few options. Realistically, you're just going to go Dark Fusion. You're going to fuse these two evil heroes into the Inferno Wing Backfire. So we're going to fuse you and you. And Backfire, when it's summoned, basically allows you to add any Dark Fusion related card to your hand again. So we are in, honestly, a little bit of a pickle. We're a little bit short of what we need in terms of potential advantage here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go Toxic Bubble. I'm going to believe the Master Duel believes in me. I'm going to special summon Toxic Bubble. Using its effect, we're going to draw 2 Fusion Destiny. Yes. Just better at the game. Here, we're going to start off with Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny then, sending away monsters for our DPE. You can call it luck all you want. I call it skill. That was a conscious decision that we made, and it paid off. So we're going to summon you. You're going to reduce that Baron right down, aren't you? And this should be lethal as far as I'm aware. I don't even need to activate all of you. Didn't have to play through a ton of interruption there. We had a Baron, an Ashe, an Imperm. So nothing crazy, but again, just the consistency of the deck is incredible, man. I just can't get enough. So good. And there we have it, I guess. I sat here for well over an hour now, fighting opponent after opponent, trying to find something that could be remotely challenging. And I'm assuming we're not going to find it until we're way higher up in the ranks. If you want a taste of more actual live gameplay, my recommendation would be to check out the VOD of our live stream. Still some pretty good games all around. It shows off a lot of what the deck wants to do through, you know, good plays, bad plays, misplays, great hands, luck. A lot of it just comes down to it. It feels like pure Yu-Gi-Oh! And you know what it is? I feel like the evil heroes don't change the vibe that heroes have always had. Like, the deck still feels the same. It feels like the same deck. It just feels better, which is good, because sometimes whenever a deck gets new support, it kind of loses its original identity and morphs into something that it used to not be, which is unfortunate in a lot of cases. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's really bad. And in a case like this, it didn't happen. So we're all winners here. So let's walk through the deck list and we'll talk about what we're playing and why we're playing it. So in terms of our actual heroes, we're going to start off with, of course, with Elemental Hero Neos, right? I mean, pretty much mandatory one of, in a lot of cases, far too useful as a name for things like your favorite Contact and Contact Fusion and such. Our Vision Hero package, we've got 1 Increase, we've got 2 Vion, and 3 Ferris. We now have ways of recycling Increase if needed, so I don't think playing more than 1 of this card is necessary. It's a little bit clunky trying to recycle it, but it's definitely very, very manageable. And the Ferris is more than worth the payoff if you can manage it. Destiny Heroes, we got 1 Denier, Ripple Malicious, and we've got the Plasma. For our D-Hero lineup, pretty standard stuff, nothing different there. We got triple Stratos. Stratos is now much better in Heroes. Stratos was always a pretty solid card, but because Heroes never really had any one-card combos outside of A Hero Lives, Stratos never really fully set itself in as the de facto normal summon or summon of heroes in general. But now it absolutely has. With the functionality that Evil Hero at Dust of Gold brings and the fact that Elemental Hero Stratos searches for that card, that means that you're going to be seeing an awful lot more Stratos, not just in Heroes, but perhaps in a few other decks as well. Spoilers. Elemental Hero Shadow Mist as a one-of, far too useful a card to not play. Then we've got our evil heroes. We've got the one-of Toxic Bubble, optional, but I think if you don't play it, you're a pussy. It's just an extender with a pot of greed effect, man. It's so good. So many games you'll win just because you summon Toxic Bubble and you top deck into like a Mass Change or Fusion Destiny or Dark Contact or something like that. Happens all the time. Pot of Greed is such a powerful effect. Plus, it's on an extender that is searchable. Like, this card's incredible. I don't know why you wouldn't play this. Dead End Prisoner at 1. This card, I guess you could probably argue for more than one of it, but all of the evil heroes are so recyclable, and it's not really an ideal normal summon. So, I think one of this card is absolutely fine. The one Sinister Necrom is, again, it's a absolutely brutal broken card, but you don't need more than one of it because it's really only a one and done type deal. But even then, if for whatever reason you're going into a longer game, it can be recycled very easily by using cards such as Dark Contact. The evil heroes do allow much tighter resource loops as well. If you get into super grindy matches, things such as Dark Contact will allow you to keep on playing the game, and looping Dark Contact through your Inferno Wing backfire. So depending on how you play your cards, you can find yourself in a position where you have a very powerful grind game thanks to the evil hero cards. We got the one of Infernal Rider, a very key part of the combo. You saw it time and time again. Grabs your Dark Fusion and searches your deck for Super Poly. We didn't do that in this video, but if you check our live stream, we did that a whole bunch. And then we've got the Vicious Claws. This card, I like this card a lot. It's definitely not been super helpful. If it was a warrior, it would be way better. It's still good as an extender. Still gets you into things like Divisor, which I'm a big fan of. It's still got a really solid graveyard effect, and it has definitely come up here and there. So I don't think it's worth cutting because worst case scenario, it is just an extender. But it's definitely not as good as the other cards as far as compatibility with the whole sort of hero deck goes. Primarily because it's not a warrior. The others aren't warriors either, don't get me wrong. They're all fiends, or rocks, I guess, which is a bit of an obstacle sometimes, and specifically because Cross Crusader is such a powerful link monster, but it specifically requires warrior monsters. The other link monsters just require heroes by name, so you can still find quite a lot of utility in the fact that these guys are just hero-named extenders. And just not quite so much as you would have been able to if they had been warriors instead. And then, of course, the triple Adusted Gold. I don't know if I said Adusted Gold, but yes, triple Adusted Gold, absolutely. This card went from being a pretty good gimmick with Dark Calling to being probably the single strongest extender or starter in your entire deck. Evil Hero with Adusted Gold is insane. Beautiful card. Into our key sort of engine spells and traps, we've got one Poly, one Miracle Fusion, one Rhoda, one Dark Fusion, one Dark Contact, one Super Poly, one Mask Change, so one of all of these various fusion cards, and then 3 Fusion Destiny. So one of all of the main searchable and recyclable fusion cards. Fusion Destiny we're playing at 3 because it's one of the best cards to help you play through boards. Like I said, we tend to play this deck going second. So Fusion Destiny being able to go into DPE while also putting 2 crazy powerful extenders in your graveyard is one of the best ways in which your deck can play through Interruption. So I definitely think this card is a 3 of. The rest of them, they're at 1. A Hero Lives, a fantastic starter. It's the single best starter card in your entire deck, far and away, purely because it gets you access to all of the other single best starter cards in your entire deck. So A Hero Lives at 3 is a no-brainer. We got 3 copies of Evil Assault. This is the card that really makes the new Evil Heroes tick. This allows you to discard a card to take a level 4 or lower Evil Hero monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. 99% of the time, that is going to be your Dead End Prison. So being able to do that. It also has an effect that allows you to banish it from the graveyard to recycle Dark Fusion, again adding to that long sort of grind game vibe that Dark Fusion and Dark Contact in combination with your Inferno Wing allow you to get into. So a lot of utility here, definitely a 3 of. It's a key integral part of your combo, so if you open up with it plus other cards, it just makes you that much less susceptible to interruption and allows you to play through that much more. And then lastly, we have the Favor Contact and Dark Supremacy, the semi-mandatory trap cards. Dark Supremacy basically allows you to negate a whole bunch of your opponent's cards up to the number of Dark Fusion or related spell cards in your graveyard, which is normally 2 or 3. So you get to negate 2 or 3 cards, and it is cards, not monsters, so you can target back row as well, which is pretty solid. If it's in your graveyard, you can banish it, target up to 5 heroes in your graveyard or banish pile and shuffle them into deck. That part hasn't personally came up. Do bear in mind, of course, that Infernal Rider forces you to banish himself and 4 other monsters from your graveyard in order to set Super Polymerization. So Dark Supremacy can be an excellent way of recycling monsters back into your extra deck if you want to get into one of those grind games that I mentioned. So you can already loop your Dark Fusion and Dark Contact very easily alongside the Inferno Wing. Dark Supremacy just adds to that in terms of your grind game potential by recycling back banished monsters, or specifically fusion monsters if you are so inclined. Favor Contact, of course, being a fusion trap card that enables the Shining Neo Swingman. We're all very familiar with this card. And that is it for the engine. For non-engine, we've got double Max C and triple Fawalos. Again, we are a going second center deck. We don't have Ash Blossom, we don't have Call By, we don't have Crossout. None of that pussy shit. We're playing like men around here. We've got the one Tactics, triple Tactics Talent. We've got double Forbidden Droplet. Droplet goated. I'm still always looking at this deck, trying to figure out which card I can cut to put in a third Droplet. I'm really honestly thinking about cutting Ferris to 2 to put in a third Droplet. This card is insane. It's good. It has won us single-handedly so many games. So I definitely think you could argue about putting Droplet to 3. I don't really want to cut talents for it, so I would be more inclined to cut Ferris, but again, Ferris is also a phenomenal extender, so you're just sort of... You're into a whole back and forth there. But that is definitely something worth bearing in mind. So we don't play a ton of non-engine. We play a hefty 50-card main deck, and we really just rely on nothing but our infinite gas to just plow everyone on our way. We just get rid of them. Into the extra deck, there's a little bit of flex in the extra. It's kind of tight, though. We'll cover the mandatory cards first of all. Dark Law, again, if you're playing Mass Change, you gotta play Dark Law. Card's broken. Inferno Wing Backfire is one of the new extra deck monsters, and definitely one of the more impactful. On special summon, you can grab a Dark Fusion or a card that mentions it from deck or graveyard to hand, except for a fusion monster, of course, which is really good. It also enables a little bit of burn damage. If a hero monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 2100 points of damage. You saw that in one of the replays. So it's kind of nice in that regard, but that searching or recycling Dark Fusion related cards means that this card is phenomenal, especially in combination with the Dark End Prison. Sunrise, pretty standard. Malicious Being finds his way back into Heroes as one of the single best going second cards in your deck. This card will wipe out an entire opponent's board and will leave it just plain and open for you to take advantage of. DPE, game-winning card, Shining Neo Swingman. I haven't really summoned this card an awful lot, but I've been in a position to do so plenty of times. It's just oftentimes your opponent surrenders or doesn't actually make plays significant enough for you to Shining Neos away their board. Elemental Hero, Fling Wingman, Infernal Rage, same thing. Always love this card. This card is mandatory. Evil Hero, Darkest Night. This card is like... This card's really surprising in its utility. And you look at it and you read its effect and you think that, okay, it's mid. Initially, when I read this guy's effect, my main draw to him, and the reason I found this card useful, was his fusion requirements. 1 Fiend monster and 1 Warrior monster. Darkest Night is typically how you're able to use Dark Contact in order to recycle Vision Hero Increase if you happen to open a whiff increase in your opening hand. So he was a utility card in my initial sort of inspection, but the more I play around with this card, the more often, and I find that he reduces your opponent's board to like 0 attack. When he's summoned, or sorry, just while he's on the field, your opponent's monsters lose attack equal to the total original attack of the monsters used as materials for him, meaning they're basically at 0 attack all of the time, because you're going to use some big-ass monsters. It can attack multiple times, which matters even more because your opponent's monsters are at 0 attack, and he's going to be getting boosted by the likes of Elemental Hero Sunrise. And lastly, if they manage to get rid of it, it's just going to replace itself with any other Fiend or Warrior monster from your graveyard. So there really is no winning. This card has proven time and time again to be an exceptional tool for going second, so it really has pleasantly surprised me, if I'm being perfectly honest. This card, I think, absolutely deserves a spot in the extra deck. Wake Up Your Elemental Hero is not a card I use very often, but again, its utility cannot be denied. The Evil Hero Neos Lord didn't come up very often during our live stream, but when it did, it was quite... It wasn't necessarily even impactful because we were already so far ahead in the situations where it came out. But I feel like as we continue to climb up in the ranks and face tougher and tougher opponents, Evil Hero Neos Lord will see more and more play. And our Link monsters are pretty much standard. We got our Wonder Driver, Double Cross Crusader, and one Infernal Devicer. So that is that. Again, it feels very much like a traditional hero list. We just have less fluff and more gas. That's pretty much it. It just feels exactly like heroes. It plays like heroes, it feels like heroes, it looks like heroes. Everything about this is true to form, true to the soul of the deck. And I could not be happier. This has been a blast, and I'm going to absolutely continue to abuse people in ranked with this. And I hope you do too. So if you got this far into the video, make sure, of course, you like and subscribe to catch more things as they're coming out. Leave out any suggestions down below for how you think we could be doing content going forward. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.